right, well, welcome. I'm going to talk a little bit about, first I want to talk about going over kind of like mindset, being able to kind of understand how to really think about what you want for 2024. 2025, right. Okay. Really think about what you want for 2025. And then you have to believe that you're going to get there, right? And in order to get there, you have to be in the right environment. Because being in the right environment is going to help you feel and learn and create those experiences within yourself to get yourself there. For example, when I was interested in flipping, I had to visualize myself doing it and seeing how I was going to do it. What are the things I have to do to get there? And then once I envisioned that, I had to put myself in those situations, right? And once you put yourself in those situations, you'll start feeling it. And then you get excited. And once you get excited, you'll start meeting people who do it on a high level. And then when you meet the right people, you partner, you get to know them, you rally, you help each other, and that's how you become that. So in life, we have to be able to first be very clear of what we want. I think most often, many of us, including myself, we're not clear. Well, I want this, but yet I want that. I want to do this, and I also want to do that, right? And so think of yourself as like a frequency, right? And your frequency is radiating, but it's going like this, right? It's not connecting to anything. It's because you don't know what the hell you want. So you can't attract the things that you don't even know, right? If you don't even know yourself, how are you going to find the right person in your life to ride or die with? If it's a mate or a friend, if you don't know, you cannot connect. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that because it's a big piece in us getting to where we need to get in 2025. A little bit about myself. I've been licensed ever since 2003, going on I think 21 or 22 years, I think. I've sold over 440 homes on and off market approximately. I started a lot in retail, and then later on I got it more into off market. My dad buys a lot, I buy for myself, my aunt, uncle, cousin. I always write deals for people off market. That's just a thing I do. And you can too. It's not illegal to write an offer for someone just like an attorney, right? You just have to check with your DB, but I've written offers for my friends and family for a very long time. Sales volume, approximately 323 million. I started buying rentals in 2008. And it was a funny story because I asked this older gentleman, I said, if you could rewind the clock back, what would you do more? And he said, I would have bought more houses. And it was like the house that I bought it for $25,000. And that was in Factoria. $25,000 in Factoria. Now he gifted to his son, refinanced it 5 times, okay? Bought a gas station, bought a restaurant, like all these things out of just one house. Took care of all his family, gift that house to his son, tore it down, and now his son built a $3.2 million house on it, off of $25,000, okay? That's real estate, and that's the reason why I started buying real estate. So I used to do this, for every 10 houses I would sell, I would go to the bank and I cash it in a cashier's check and I put it in a shoebox. I wouldn't even put it in my bank account. And so as long as I had 10 to 12 checks, I pull it out and then I lay it out and I see if I have enough for a rental property. And that's what I did. And so should you, right? So you should always put away a minimum of 10% of your income to the side for an investment property. Because when a good deal comes up and you're not ready, you're going to lose that opportunity. So start planning, stay ready, and add to your portfolio. I started flipping in 2014. I've been married for 17 years. Yay! It's not easy. For those who are married in here, it's not easy. I have 3 amazing kids and a dog that I love. And it was funny, this dog, when we adopted him, he had the same birthday as I do. Isn't that crazy? So, meant to be in our family. And my purpose in life is to change the industry and unite us as a community. I think real estate, everybody's very divided. Everybody keeps to themselves. They hold all the secrets. They won't share. And I'm all about the sharing. You call me and I'd help you as much as I can. We're here to grow. If you have money, I have money, and you have a good deal, I'll go in it, okay? Because I know my people. And it's easier for me to serve and create a circle of 100 to 200 than be available to 10,000, right? And so this is what our VIP community is all about, is creating a small, like-minded community to help us grow and scale. So enough about me. So let's talk about mindset, okay? Do you know what constructive interference is? So what that means is we all carry a frequency, right? And say you and I meet and we talk and it's like just this energy just flows and you're like, oh my God, she's my person. And you get so excited, right? And you're like, okay, let's go do this together. Let's do that together. Let's build this business together. So like when I'm talking to you, I'm pushing my energy towards you, right? And then you're receiving that energy and you feel excited, okay? And then when you talk to people, you get excited. The same works if someone drains you and you explain to them, we're like, oh, I'm looking at this property and it's an opportunity to either fix or flip, or maybe I'll build a dadu. And then they go, that sounds stressful, right? Like, what does that do to your energy? It dims it down, it drains you. And so being in the right environment, being in an area where you feel you're heard, like in a room like this, being like when Izzy and I have our call-a-thons on Thursday. And when the agents are in there and they're making calls, it's exciting. It makes me want to make more calls, So you have to put yourself in that the right environment. Where this comes from is that in order for you to reach those goals and those desires is that you have to create this wish, right? And the wish comes from being creative, okay? You have to be creative, otherwise it's no fun, right? And what are your ideas? What are your dreams? What do you want? And play a lot, enjoy it. Don't overthink it. When you go to a networking event or a class or you could go to a party, don't overthink it. Just enjoy the process. Enjoy the people. Get to know them. And once you enjoy that, you're going to read their energy a lot more than being nervous. What happens is when you're in a room and say they're all top producers and they're doing 10 or 50 million a year, right? And you're like, oh, do I fit in? Or, am I in the right place? The more you think about that, the more negative energy you're putting around you, right? And so being more playful, it's fun, have vision, be like a child, be innocent, be open, be a sponge to just absorbing all that information, okay? And then when you're in those environments, right, what are your intentions, okay? Some of the things you can think about is, inspired action, passion, being present, being in the moment, getting to know people, time management, believe, determination, trust. and then your surrounding. Make sure you're putting yourself in those surroundings. So if you want to buy your first rental, right? Wouldn't it be good to start a conversation with a property manager and say, hey, what areas are you getting a lot of applications in, right? Like, where do you go? Instead of like, okay, I'm just gonna go look for the best deal out there. So say you wanna get a rental, right? First I would do is I would call a property manager. If you don't know one, call me. I have an amazing property manager. And then she'll tell you, okay, this area is killing it. We posted 15 application. Okay, that's one, right? Like for my rental, I wanted a certain price, and she's like, well, right now it's saturated. There's a new building that just came up, and everybody's flocking to that apartment because it's so cheap. That's what I would do, right? And that's how you collect the first rental, is you start with the end in mind. Where are people flocking to? What areas, right? Also, when you're flipping, you want to flip in areas where you know contractors. You have people that are not too far from you. Because worst thing is, if you want to flip and a good deal is in like Shoreline and I'm all the way down south, it's gonna take me a long time to get there. So I rather just hyper focus. And you guys, you don't need 10 flips, you just need 2 good ones. And there's 12 months out of a year, a lot of months to find 1 or 2, right? So be patient, find the right deal. And then big in the receiving mode. A lot of people don't feel like they deserve something, right? I don't deserve that, or I don't feel like that's part of me. If you don't feel it and you don't think you deserve it, then you're not gonna get there. And I think a lot of us, like myself included, we grew up poor, so we didn't have much. When you don't have much and things come so easy, you're like, is this just a one-time event? Did I just get lucky? Is this gonna happen again? Those are the things that are still in the back of my head, and those are what we call subconscious and conscious mind, right? And those subconscious minds and memories are what our parents implant in our head, that millionaires are not for us. Like they live in a different side of the world and not us. And when I started investing and I started seeing my investment come to fruition, I felt like, oh my gosh, like it's not as hard as I thought. It's not so far out of reach as I thought. And of course, our first flip, we made 0 money for 7 months during COVID. It was the worst flip in my life. But it was fun because we learned a lot, right? And then it just started this whole constructive interference energy between me and my business partner. We were just having fun and we're just jiving, and then all of a sudden like this amazing opportunity came. And I was like, oh, okay, this is the one. They don't want it, let's pick it up. And that was the one that made us over $300,000 for one flip. It was because we were in the zone, right? We were connected to what we really wanted. So being present, right? And being intentional, and also being receiving. And why, this thing here. So a lot of people ask this question. So why does this not work for some people? The truth is, like I said, the inner programming is wiring you back to your past. And in order for us to erase that, we have to bring those subconscious mindset or self-talk to the front and kind of nail it in the head. Like, why? Why not me? Like, talk about it, okay? Bring it to the present. Just like when you're driving and all of a sudden you're home, that's your subconscious just driving you home because it's an old memory that's taking autopilot. So if you don't correct those thoughts, it's gonna lead you in the same direction, right? You're just gonna go on autopilot and you're just gonna go in the same direction, right? Just like say you want to sell a $2 million house. You're like, oh, I've never sold a $2 million house, right? And so you keep saying, I've never sold a $2 million house. What direction do you think you're going to go? You're going to go that way versus that way, right? Now, change your mindset. I can sell a $2 million house, and I love it, and I'm going to meet the right person that's going to buy a house like this from me. But first, what do I need to do? What's the first step? I need to put myself in that environment. I need to go to more luxury real estate meetings. I need to go visit more new construction, get to know the sales rep at new construction sites. Ask them what their specs are. What makes this builder different from that builder? Do you know? Do you guys know? If you don't know, how can you relay that to your client? But the problem is we don't go find that information until we have the client, right? We do it backwards. So if a doctor goes to school, right, do they operate do they operate right away? Do they wait for the patient to figure it out? That's what we do in real estate. That's what we do in real estate. Like, oh, my cousin called. He wants to buy an apartment. Now I got to go figure out how to sell an apartment. Who here has done that? Right? Right? So what we do is we do everything backwards. And we expect to be paid $1 million. And that's not how it works. So today we're going to be really clear on what we really want, and then those items that we need to do to get us there, right? Because you've got to prepare. I can't go buy a property if I don't have money. So I got to have money first, not the property first. I know sometimes it happens, like we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But you got to prepare. This is a business, right? So if you wanted to sell your first $1 million property, what do you have to do? You have to visit all of the new construction in your neighborhood, right? So if I live in East Renton Highlands and I wanted to nail homes in the 2 to 5 million price point, what do I have to do to get myself there? I have to go visit every single builder. I've got to know their name. I have to know how long they've been in the business. I have to talk to the sales rep. I have to ask how many other projects they got coming, right? Yeah, you do builders, so you understand specs, right? And then you go open house and you see what's on the market. Because usually when builders, they have properties, they're usually easy to walk in, right? But yes, definitely you want to know everything in your pocket. You want to know Sally's name next door. You want to know if her mom lives next to that person. You want to get to know everybody in that. When I started my career in 2003, I actually wanted to be an assistant first. And so I applied to be an assistant for this luxury real estate agent in John O. Scott on Mercer Island. And boy, Larry, he knew everybody at Mercer Island. And his clients were the Nordstrom family. His clients were, dealership owners. I mean, his clients were like super high end, right? And he would know everybody that's associated to that person. When we go in an appointment, he know exactly what kind of alcohol that guy likes, right? Like he had 2 Ford dealerships in the South End, this guy named Rob, and he brought him his favorite vodka, and he brought it and put it on the table. And they just had a simple conversation. He was like, your dad owned this before. We know what it's worth. I mean, he just had a great conversation. And he said, your waterfront condo in Kirkland is not worth $2 million. He straight up told him that. He was like, I'd love to sell it for $2 million, but it's not worth $2 million. So I'll take it at 1.2. This is back then. And he explained, he was like, Sally next door to this person, east facing, west facing, they did upgrades. He knew everybody in the building. Level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? But he didn't wait for that listing appointment to come up to be able to learn all that. He knew that building inside out. He knew who built that building. That's how deep luxury and high-end goes. But just like your clients too, right? If you're starting with a first-time home buyer, do you know all of the loan programs that are available for them? I bet you don't, right? And so we have to be able to put ourselves in those environments first to learn and then to educate the people around us. Let's not do 2025 backwards, okay? So today we're gonna discover your pillars. Gonna write it down. We're gonna create an action plan for it. And then also we're gonna do some math. So pull out your calculator. We're gonna help you calculate how much you want to make this year and how many transactions you have to do to get there, okay? Who here has a database? Okay, who here does not have a database? This is your bonus. Okay, so how to build a database when you don't have a database. And the number one lead conversion is database. You have to have a database. And I have to admit, I am horrible at database. I hate managing it. It's something that I don't like to do. But what I love to do is I love collecting emails. I'm a big email junkie. You know, all I need is their email address and their phone number because I don't like asking where they live if I just met them, right? And we don't even have a relationship. They barely know me. They were invited to my pumpkin patch through a friend. And they just got to know me. So they're like, I don't want to give you my, great, just put down your email and then your phone number. Because those people can ignore those things, right? Okay? So I like collecting emails and phone numbers, okay? And the way you could do it is I'll add this, we'll send the deck out to everybody. What you can do is you can export everybody in your Gmail account. And it comes out in a huge spreadsheet. And it'll show their name, their email address, if there's a phone number attached, and then all the emails. They'll kind of lay it all out, right? So this, I'll have this for you so you can walk through the process of pulling and exporting your email list. Also, another cool thing is now that the iPhone backs itself up or your phone backs itself up, all your contacts should be saved, right? So there's this app called Export Contact by Cove, C-O-V-V-E, okay? So what it does, if you download it, how much is it? $3.99?
Is this separate than the Gmail one?
Yeah. So you can pull your phone, and then you can pull it on Google too, and you add those two together. And then this is export backup. You could just Google this, and then down here, Export Contacts by Cove, C-O-V-V-E. So there's people that I've spoke to or have in my phone for, I don't know, 20 years, and they all pop up. And now you have a database. And when I did this, guess how many people I had? I think I had like, oh my gosh, I think when Viral, my CRM company that does this for me, they helped me pull this. When I did both of these, I think I had 3,800 people. And so what happens is now you have a database, okay? And it only starts with 100. And I'm sure everybody has 100 people in there. And now what do? You start making content. You start making videos, right? You do a special event, invite them, right? Every year I do a ginormous pumpkin patch party and everybody's invited. I just do a huge one. And that's when I splurge. And each pumpkin's like what, $2, $3? And that's when I could see 150 people in 2 hours. Then I do, a pictures with Santa for Christmas, and then bring a donation item for Birthday Dreams. It's a homeless shelter for kids where they get birthday present toys for kids. So I get a double whammy. We did it last year. It was super fun, right? And I get to see, so if they miss my pumpkin patch, they have the Christmas event. I usually do this because it's a slower season, right? Holidays is where you get reconnected. And now I'm top of mind again, right? And then every year they get a Seahawks calendar, and then they get a whole year calendar. And it's a little magnet that goes on their fridge. And so has my little face on it, all my information, and it's super funny because everywhere my friend goes, they're like, I saw your magnet on someone's fridge. But it's just like just throwing things at them so they don't forget you, right? So those are things that are very important to build your business. So find a partner, okay? This is a worksheet. Izzy, find a partner. Oh, you're right here. Find a partner, okay. Choose 3 buyer lead generation activity, and then choose 3 seller lead generation activity. We were talking about senior care. Those are very important because a lot of those really nice ones, there's a waiting list for them. I mean, someone has to die for someone to move in because they're so popular. And so there's a lot of those out there. If you guys start searching for those, you can go and make friends with the reps there. Because what happens is, I used to work at one of those in high school. I used to work at the restaurant, you know, taking care of making food for the older people. And it was this place called Exodus where it's like down in Capitol Hill. And it's so popular that there's this huge waiting list. So someone has to go before someone gets the call, right? And so what they do is they would tour people through the facility. And so these people are preparing their house to sell, right? And then they're going to move into these care facilities. And so those are great places for you to network. And they do events all the time. So if you're singing, go sing or something there. Or, you know, I don't know, you like to host bingo, you know, go host and volunteer there and get to know those community centers because they move very high-end people. The one that I work with, I think it costs around $200,000 a year to live there. They have a car, they have Teslas there hooked up in Seattle. They have cars there that they can just book and drive themselves. Because this is not like a care facility. These are like a senior transition home, right? They would have vans where they'd go to museums together, art galleries together. I mean, it's just fun. They're always celebrating. They're always having a ball. They have a workout facility there. They have a full bar where it's like unlimited alcohol for these people. It's just, I think one of the mayor used to live there. I don't know, I think he still lives there. I don't think he died, but I think we bumped into him when we were there. But places like that, like you guys, like I said, think outside the box. Please, think outside the box. You should not just do one thing only, right? Explore, think outside the box, hook up with another agent, sit down, like, what are a few things that we could do that's different, right? Put a booth at a fair or put a booth at a farmer's market, right? Give out seeds, I don't know, do something, right? And I'd rather you do something different than to just sit at an open house that's been there for 60 days. I mean, the traffic for an open house that's been sitting there for 60 to 90 days, you will probably get 2, right? For you to close 2 deals, you have to meet 200 people. Okay, so how many open houses do you have to do to meet 200 people? Hell of a lot, unless it's a hot open house, right? So if a house is on the market, right, for 60 days, don't do it, you know? Refer it out to another agent if it's your listing. Just don't do it because you're not making best use of your time. You're worth $0 sitting there, maybe negative. Okay, so I've created this lead tracker for you guys because who here knows about the CORE training coaching program? Okay, so the CORE, I was in the CORE training for about 5 years, and it really helped me build my business. It took me from 150 to over $500,000 because I followed the CORE process, okay? And so I pulled a I pull pieces of it that worked for me, and then I put it in here for you guys. So you can make a whole bunch of copies of this, and I would put it in a binder and follow through. So my goal, you guys, every week is to get 5 new contacts. That's not a lot. I used to do 25 a week, but now I scaled it down to 5, right? So how do I get 5 new contacts in here? Okay, that's my focus every week. How do I add someone's name, where they came from? I don't really need their address, but that's a bonus. Phone number, email, and a note. Okay? Once I capture that, they're going to go into my CRM, and they're going to get a video. They're going to get 2 videos from me every month. Okay? And it's going to be about property line adjustments. It's going to be about, if I don't know, I'll just bring like an inspector, right? And interview an inspector, right? If you're doing a inspection on one of your properties, just ask the inspector, like, hey, can I do a short, just 2-minute video with you and ask you what are the those most items that you call out on during an inspection? And then we can share it with my people and help you grow your database. Of course he's going to say yes, right? Do that. Okay? Just be creative. You know, what are those common questions that your clients ask you? What are the rates today? Right? Hook up with the lender. Jenny's here. She's an amazing lender. Raise your hand. She is the queen of networking, you guys. If you guys want to network, that's your girl. They throw some amazing happy hour. They bring sushi. They bring other people. She's awesome. She does a lot of, they have their own podcasts at their office, right? Killer team. Okay. So my goal, right, face-to-face, you could change these numbers up here, you guys. It's up to you, right? So my goal is to write 2 note cards every day, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? If I miss one day, I'll do it on a Saturday or Sunday. And that card could be a birthday card. I appreciate you. Thank you for being part of my life. Could be a happy anniversary. And you guys, it doesn't have to be the house that you sold to them to write them a happy anniversary card. Why does it have to be you? You're giving to someone and showing them that you appreciate them because you care, not because there's an attachment to it, right? I have these little pop-out cards that I get from Amazon, and you pull it, and it says, smile, today's your day, or something like that. It's just fun. Just put it in. If it's their birthday, I'll put in a Starbucks card. It's like $10. I'd rather do that than go buy leads. And all you need is 100 people, because if 100 people that's in your database and you know them, the conversion goes up 30% versus 5%. And you know people. If you were to get married, right, who would you invite to the wedding? I mean, you got to have more than 25 people, right? And remember, everybody you meet is a walking database. But they can't refer you if you're an undercover agent, right? Just like when you get your nails done, how many other nail shops are in the corner? A lot. But why is it that one nail shop is so freaking busy? There's one nail shop that everybody wants to go to. Because why? They're so good. They have great customer service. I drive far just to get my nails done because they're so good and they're fast. I don't want anybody talking to me. Please, just do my nails. I got 45 minutes and I'm out, right? It's just the way real estate goes, right? Everybody knows a real estate agent. Everybody I know owns a pho restaurant. You know, I don't know. I mean, everybody I know owns a nail shop, right? I mean, there's a lot out there, but think about it, what makes you different, right? And so you can't be a hidden agent. Why would I hire you to sell my house? Why? Okay? Why would I hire you to sell my house? I go onto listing appointments and I'm competing with 3 or 5 other real estate agents. Who could tell me why I always win the listing? Kiana, she goes to a lot of my listing appointments. Why do you think I always win those listing appointments? So Kiana basically said, because I won is because I came prepared. My experience showed I was prepared. I had a well put together listing presentation. I understood their needs and I listened to them. And I made their transition easy. I knew they were relocating from here to a different state. And I told them if they hand me the keys, I take care of the rest. Stress-free. Right? Stress-free. But I didn't create a listing presentation when I got the listing appointment. I had the listing presentation 5 years ago. Right? Who here has a listing presentation? Exactly, right? So your job is, I'm going to hire you to sell my $1 million house, and I want every one of you to have a listing presentation and then present it to me. And if whoever has the best listing presentation, I'll put you on my next listing. There's your challenge. Bring me your listing presentation, and if it wows me, I will put you on my next listing. Okay? That's your goal. Okay. So I like to have coffee and lunch at least twice or 3 times a week, right? So I'll have coffee with a lender, sometime title and escrow, if they buy me my lunch. Okay, only with them. And right now I'm building our team. So obviously I'm spending a lot of time with potential agents that are joining us, and also my past clients. So I always look at Facebook. Someone's birthday's coming up, I hit them up. I'm like, hey, let's have lunch. Let's have coffee. So I always spend at least a day or 2 just reconnecting with my database. Right. So you shouldn't be eating by yourself unless you're working on a potential deal or you're making calls. Right? You should always be eating with someone who's going to add to your business. And here's a bonus. When you invite someone to have coffee or lunch with you, ask them to bring someone else. Now you just got 2 for 1. Okay? So if she used to do insurance, right? So if I call my insurance lady and I was like, hey, Mark's my insurance guy. Okay. So I call Mark. I'm like, hey, Mark, let's do our quarterly get-together. Let's have our lunch, brainstorm, mastermind. Let's figure out how to grow together. And I said, hey, Mark, bring someone that you think could add value to our business. And he'll invite someone. He'll invite someone that he knows that's going to help me grow and for himself to grow. So now I just sat down and I already got 2 for 1. Right? You don't want to do more than 3 because the conversation starts to get diluted. It becomes a party. And then you drink and then, you get nothing done. Story of my life. And then phone calls, right? I know Izzy makes like 100 calls a day. I try to make 25 a week. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So if I didn't make my 5 calls for the day, I'm probably in the garage, like I pull up in my house, and I'm in the garage, and I'm making my last 2 calls before I go in the house. Because, I have 3 kids, and they all want something from me. So that's how I usually do it. So do you call till you have a conversation, or you have a goal of how many conversations you have, or you just like, I'm going to do 100 calls and I'll be done for the day?
I'm going to do 100 calls and I'll be done for the day.
Okay.
And in those 100 phone calls, I might get multiple leads. I'm not going to stop my calls and then celebrate. I'm going to keep going and see how many leads I can get for that day, and then do it again on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. And if you want to be a superstar, do it on Saturday.
Okay. And we have call-a-thons, so for those.
We have one tomorrow.
Oh, yes, tomorrow. So come by our office. I'll post it in VIP. Come by our office. We do cold calling days every Thursday. Okay, so your goal is to fill this out every week. And I promise you, all these deals all of a sudden started falling from the sky. It's just, let me show you my folder. I've been doing it for 21 years, and I still do it, okay? There's no break, because the bill's due tomorrow, right? Rent's due. Okay, look. They turn up. Look. You see those highlights? Those are closings. And I can go back. Like, if I don't have someone to call, I'll just go back. I'm so old school, it's ridiculous. But I just go back. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to call her. It's been a month. Had her in here, right? Showed her a house for $1.2 million, and I forgot to call her back. So whenever I don't have it, I'm like, okay, who I need to call? I just pop this open, and I'll just start calling people. So I can hit my 5 for the day. It's not that hard. Once you start drumming up all these leads, so when it's highlight, it's a deal. We're closing it. It's in escrow. But how do you remember? In your head? No. So all these people here go into my CRM, right? They go into my videos because I don't like to babysit that machine. It gets kind of lost in the sauce, right? But it's cool because I do the video, I send it to them, they edit it, and then they push it out. They do an email, newsletter, they do everything. And then all of a sudden I'll get email back like, hey, Ty. I had one from Nancy. It's like, hey, Ty, next year we're for sure going to sell our mom's property in Bellevue. It's right on Bellevue, Maine, and we got an offer, cash offer for $3 million. And she was just like, but we want you to list it for us when that time comes because it's an estate sale. And she wants to divide it to all the siblings. But she wanted to wait. There's a renter in there. But from my video, she's like, it's so good to see you. And I don't even know, right? She's like, it's so good to see you. It was funny because one of my friends, I sold him a house in Queen Anne, and he was like, Ty, I need to put a fence, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what my lot line is. We didn't talk about that when we bought the house, right? And so I sent him my survey guy. My survey guy went out there and surveyed their lot and then helped them establish their line, walked over to the neighbor and said, hey, I'm the surveyor. This is the property line. And he said, oh, okay, I'll move my stuff over because he was kind of encroaching it a little bit. But when someone official comes and tells the neighbor, they believe, it puts them in their spot. And so he put up his fence, and I was just like, that'd be a great video to do. So I did the video. And I had, I think, 350 views. It was such a good video. And then I posted it everywhere. But things like that, right? Like, be very intentional about what people are asking you, because if one person asks you, everybody else is thinking about the same thing, right? Like, oh, if I buy a house on septic, what do I have to do, right? Is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? Do you guys know? Yeah, right? His answer is no. We've been through this. But I'm saying if you don't know, how can you educate your client? The doctor does not do surgery before he learns. He got to learn first before he does surgery. And you guys are operating every day on a client's financial. And you don't know it, right? So we have to scale back to go forward. And I think this is the season. Because information is so easy to find that if you're not on top of mind and you're not just feeding people stuff, you're gonna be out of this business. And I love our community because we're an investor mindset. We think differently, we act differently, we do things differently. That's gonna set us apart from everybody else. Really. Like, there is nobody out there that's teaching the things that we're teaching here. I promise you. I've been all over. Okay, so if you do this every week, I promise you, you're going to close 2 deals every month. I promise you. Just give it 60 days. And you'll see that you'll be closing 2 deals every month. Okay, enough about that. Okay, so now we're going to do some math. Okay, you guys open your packet. Who knows how much it costs them to run their life every month? Good, okay. I like that. So just write it down, okay? How much is your mortgage car payment, gas, car maintenance, car insurance, electric, gas, cable, internet, phone, all that stuff, okay? Add it all together. Once you add all that together, you're going to put it in the box on the bottom and you multiply it by 12. That's how much it's going to cost you to run your life each year. My food and entertainment was $3,000 last month. I was like, okay, need to scale back on that, those alcohol, those cocktails. On the next page, you're going to write down your target take-home income. How much do you want to put in your bank account? After all said and done, how much money do you want in your pocket? So if you're making 50, put in 100, 150. If you're making 2 or 150, write down 250. If you're making 250, did I miss it? I went too far? Yeah, okay. So write it in. And then so now you're gonna calculate your target take home after tax. So 30% goes to Uncle Sam, right? So you're gonna divide that. So you're gonna really take home 70, right? Of the 300. If I had 300 here, right? If I had 300,000, right? Because 30% of it's gonna go to Uncle Sam. My take home this year, I would like to do 300,000, right? I like 300. But in order for me to take home 300,000, I would have to make 428,000. Because how often do we like, oh, my goal is $500,000, but you don't know what all that takes or all the expense that goes into it, right? This is just a glimpse of it, right? This is not even us calculating the cost of running the business, right? So on top of that, for me to reach that, I have to hit over $500,000. So your target taxable income, for the example, right, is about 130. But now you're going to calculate the company split, okay? So we don't have to worry about the percentage because for EXP, you just put in 16,000 in here, right? Hoping that all of us cap, okay? Our goal is to cap. We will. We're going to cap. So if you put in 16,000 here, you can get your number, right? Put in your taxable income, put in 16, that gets you your number. That makes sense. Is everybody like keeping up? It's pretty easy. Okay. Okay, it's okay. Okay. So ignore this portion because it's calculating the 80-20, right? Because the company gets 20%, you keep 80, right? To make it easy, we're just going to put 16 down here. We're just saying you're going to cap, and then you're going to pay out 16. So what it means is an agent would have to earn $140,000 in order to have $130 in taxable income after her broker takes the 10, well, which is 16. Yeah. I remember when I was at Compass, I paid them $46,000 once because it was unlimited. It was unlimited. It's because they provide a lot, like marketing and all that stuff. You can ignore that section, but let's write down all your dues here. Running a business costs money, okay? So who knows how much realtor's dues is? It's like $750 divided by 12 because, oh, this is an annual, okay. 764, 760. All right, just round it to 800. No, this is for all real estate agents. Everybody has to pay a realtor's dues. Yeah, done. Yeah, I think mine's due in November. Okay, so that's, the Northwest MLS fees are about, I think, $45 a month, right? Times that by 12. So you guys gotta know these things. It's expensive, so when someone asks you for a discount, say sorry. You wanna pay for my Northwest MLS dues? We just closed on our Newcastle listing, and the other agent is a discount broker, right? And so the payout, I think you guys saw it, The payout she got for a almost $2 million home, she got $14,000. I took home 40 grand. Because I'd rather work with one good client than run around with 10. She was like, I don't know what's going on. I have 8 closing this month. I cannot keep up with what's going on. Can you help me? She was just, and then she had her husband running around for her too, while she was on vacation. And she was just running herself, spinning her wheels. And that's all the clients she's gonna build. Discount clients. That's the database she's gonna have in her database. I mean, look at Izzy. When he goes to a listing appointment, he's like, it's 3%. You have any questions? It could be 2.5. It could be flexible. Okay, Michael, take that out. Okay. But I'm just saying, you have to turn down business and pick up quality people versus quantity, or you're going to spin your wheels and you're gonna lose it in this business. It's so hard. It's a stressful business, and you have to know your value. And where does value come from? Knowledge, right? What can you tell them that I can't, right? If you specialize in open house, I would know every single house on the market in that neighborhood. Every single house. That no realtor like me who knows what I'm doing can walk in, right, and outshine you. I won't, because you know every single open house that's on the market in that pocket. You know every single seller. You know that pocket so well that that agent's going to use you. One of my friends, she just started real estate only a 1.5 years ago. And she's done over 452 open house. Okay? You cannot outdo her. And all her open house are at 2 million and up. She will not do an open house under 2 million. And she's crushing it. She closed, I think, 18 luxury listing. And she's only been in business for a 1.5 years. So you can't tell me you can't do it. This girl's killing it. First, you have to ask yourself, what do you like to do? What makes you excited? Basically, it's like, what would I do? And I'll just talk for me, okay? Everybody's different, right? Okay, if I had to start real estate all over again, I would build my database and really spend more time on my database, okay? I would do the Excel spreadsheet pull out. I would get all contacts from my phone and my email account. From college, weddings, I would get them all in. I would get them in a CRM, right? And then I would host events and invite them all to my events. I would do community events. I grew up in White Center. I'd probably do more events in White Center. Now I live in Renton Highlands. I do more events in Renton Highlands and invite them. Join community events, right? And add value and get to know people. People can't do business with you unless they see you and they resonate with you and they connect with you, right? So now that you're out there and people know you, the second thing is you have to provide knowledge. And if you don't have that, you got to bring people with knowledge, right? Who are the experts in that area? When is it that they have to replace those things? What about the fascia boards or the gutters? If you add that, do you guys do that too? Or do you refer that out, right? I have this guy that cleans my windows, does my gutters after all the leaves fall. And I told him, I did an interview with him, and I said, if you call my guy, he's going to give you 25% off on me. Everybody calls my guy, right? But I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about roof, gutters, nothing. But I provided value. So at the end of the day, stop thinking about yourself, okay? Stop thinking about, oh, do I look right? Am I showing up too much on Facebook? Am I just showing people I sell too many houses? I'm not, just be your authentic self. One of my best clients bought 2 houses from me. Her first house, she lived in this hill. I sold it to her for $800,000 in Kent. And then I was videoing my daughter riding her bike in a cul-de-sac every summer. I'd track her, or we go on walks with our dogs in this cul-de-sac. And then she calls me. They just bought this house a 1.5 years ago. And she's like, our kids can't bike at our hill, it's just too high. And I want to have that life that you have. I want my kids to ride their bike in a cul-de-sac.
I want to be you.
And then so I sold her house and then sold her another house for $1 million. Just because I was doing me. Right? Do you. There's nobody else. So don't overthink it, you know? We can go over these numbers. Why don't you guys kind of like run through those numbers, and then we could do those numbers together. So I worked out my numbers, and I think, so my goal is to do 446,000 to get to 300. That's a lot, right? It's not easy, but those are the numbers, right? So I finished my worksheet. So if you guys can work on that, those are super important. And then I think that's all I have for you guys. But that's about it, you know. Right now I have a successful database. I don't really cold call a prospect very much. And on average, I sell about 18 to 25 homes a year. And that's just for fun. My goal is to pick up 2 flips a year, and maybe do a few wholesale deals. I mean, we picked up a deal that was an off-market deal, and we locked it up, and an investor was willing to pay us $75,000 more just to hand it over. Didn't have to do anything to it, but we decided to keep it, right? All you have to do is find 2 of those, but you have to know your lane. Let's go back to the mindset. Let's go back to the mindset. Create those frequencies that are not wobbly. Just be clear on what you want, right? Be very, very clear what you want. And then you'll get there, but you have to be clear. If you're not clear, your frequency is off, you're not going anywhere. So you have to slow down to go fast. And so I have to slow down. And this is the perfect season for me to slow down. I love November and December. I literally am in the planning process. Right now, I am setting up my farm. So this is what I'm doing for 2025. I have 3,200 postcards going out, and I'm going to hit everybody in Newcastle, wrapping kind of the waterfront Newcastle all the way up the hill into Issaquah area, because that's pretty close to where I live. And that's going to take me to 2 million to 5 million pocket. And so I'm doing this program called, it's called EDDM. You guys know what it is? It's called farming. So it's called Every Door Direct. And it's like you get a Safeway newspaper in your mail, but you can't get rid of it. That's what it is. So I print out these postcards, and it says, list with me for 90 days or it's free. And I send it out to the neighborhood. And then another month, I'll do a market update in the neighborhood. I'm going to show up every month for an entire year. And they can't remove me from the mailbox. I used to send postcards to individual address. And what they do is they call you and like, can you remove me off of the mailing list? And I have to go back to Excel spreadsheet, take them out, resend it to my post guy, and have it delivered. But this program it just hits everybody in the mailing route. So there's different mailing routes, and I can teach you guys how to do that. But it costs money, right? But I'm willing to spend money, right, to get to those bigger listings. If I didn't, I'd be doing open house, right? It's called check equity or sweat equity. You can't have, which one are you going to pick? So if you're new, you're going to do sweat equity. I did open house for 5 years straight while I was pregnant. During the short sale crisis, foreclosure, I did all that, right? So either your check equity or your sweat equity. And so it's going to go through all that route. And that's my vision, to get to the $2 to $5 million price point going into 2025. So I'm going to set myself up to get there. So set yourself up, get educated, be around people that's going to help you grow. Write your intentions down, your goals down, and then the most important part is putting yourself in those environments. You can't grow unless you put yourself in the environment. And that's why we created Thursday call-a-thons. If you want to call, come by and make calls. If you want to visit luxury listing, call the agent and say, can I preview your listing? Record it, video it, you know? What makes this house so special? And just kind of grow, right? Those are the things that's going to take you to the next level. You know how much work it took Izzy and myself to have an assignment contract. A lot of people hide this stuff. You go to these networking events and like everybody has their own version that they won't share, right? But these are what we use right now to assign a deal to somebody else. And when we sign a deal, the last deal I assigned was one in North Seattle. It was a referral because she knew I hacked homes. Her husband's worker, father passed away. They sold the property to us. I locked it up, wholesaled it to one of my investors, made $10,000 for the wholesale deal, and then they gave me the list back at 3%. So I got paid twice on it. And I have a relationship with a hard money lender who gives me a referral if I send them leads. So they went to get hard money, and I got paid on that as well. But you have to know these things to ask for them. And you got to be, again, in the right environment with the right people that's going to help guide you in those directions. So it's super important to be able to put yourself in those environments and learn. Yeah. So our office is open. If you're not in VIP, let us know, but we always post our address in VIP. You've been there. It's fun, right?
Yeah, I did.
I'm taking December off. I don't know about you. I'm taking December off. I'm going skiing. So, well, this year our goal is to keep and hold rental properties to stack up, and we've been flipping, and it's fun. Money goes in fast, goes out fast. So we want to first keep more property because money is made long term, not short term. That's one. Two is this property has an additional huge lot to the right of it. And so our goal is to rent this out, and then we're going to subdivide and build another house. And essentially, once we remodel this house, we could sell that, and our lot would be free. So, but we'll now have 2 properties to rent out versus just 1. So that's our goal. Yeah, but we're stacking our real estate portfolio. Yep, adding more, not selling more. Yeah. But that's it. Thanks, you guys, for coming. I hope that was helpful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.